So today, actually yesterday, I was watching a video, or I was doing some of the courses for bioenergetic therapy that Elias Holz has, and I also have the book by Alexander Lowen, Bioenergetics. And it started getting me thinking. I do a lot of body work, so I get to feel a lot of people and how they tend to be. And one thing I've noticed, I've gotten all the people from the schizoid, the oral, the psychopath, the masochist, um, and the rigid narcissist, right? At least body type. And one thing I've noticed, I don't know what I'm doing with this information, but maybe you guys can help me out. So one thing I did, I wrote it down and everything. Look at that. So one thing I've noticed is I get a lot of schizoid people, right? And one thing that I've noticed with their bodies is that they need deep, deep tissue, heavy elbow, me digging in as hard as I can. And they still barely feel it. They still, using all my body weight, using all and my pressure, everything I can, every tool of the trade, and they still just like, can you go deeper? It's like, my guy, you don't have that much muscle, but your muscles are like so hypertonic, so tight, and it's usually, I've noticed the two schizoids that I get, it's either like some sort of successful intellectual man, so very skinny neck, very tight, traps very tight, arms very tight, back very tight, legs everything's tight, or tiny women that are also very skinny, that are just completely tight, and they always want the deepest tissue. There's also a running joke, at least at my place, where it's like the smallest women, the smallest, tiniest, skinniest women always want the deepest pressure on them. All right, they want heavy elbow, they want more, 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 and even with that, they still don't feel it. I get a lot of ecto 2 or oral type people. A lot of their problems tend to be, they like medium firm, where it's like kind of deep, but kind of like not light. Most of it's going to be on their lower back, between the shoulder blades, the erectors, the neck, where it's like pretty much anything that stabilizes them. They tend to have issues, but they never want to go super deep. The next one would be the psychopathic, and they're more of a deep tissue, sports massage, stretching. A lot of their problems tend to be on the anterior muscles, so the whole front area, the glutes, lats, neck, arms, and yes, they tend to need to release this, the pushing muscles. Pretty much the pushing muscles are always, their shoulders are always overdeveloped, their neck is always super tense, and they need a lot of stretching, a lot of opening up, a lot of and then some glute work as well, because they have a harder time stabilizing their top heavy body. From there, the masochists, they're the ones that have the biggest, from what I've seen, they're chubbier people. They tend to have the biggest list of problems, but they also tend to have the biggest range of pressure that they want to use. So they'll go anywhere from deep to medium pressure to firm pressure, and a lot of sports massage, a lot of stretching. A lot of their problems areas are going to be the neck, the glutes, the hamstring, rectus abdominis, lower back, quads, calves. They tend to have posterior pelvic tilt, so because they sit down a lot, they tend to be chubbier, so they're not as active. And then lastly, the one that I probably get the least is the rigid phallic narcissist meso 2. Most of their stuff is usually the spine, the hamstring, the arms, the quads, the feet, and it's more of a light medium pressure where it's like, they just want me to make them feel good, pretty much. They want to come out here feeling good, not per se feeling beat down. They have to just come out feeling good. So those are the people that I actually do more like spa type of work, where they just kind of want to be pampered so they can come out feeling good. They care more about relaxing, while the other types usually tend to care more about getting those tension areas out, right? So one thing I've noticed with this the type of like the bioenergetic somatotypes is that, to me, I've noticed they're more like, the way they hold tension, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about how they are, right? Because the one thing with the schizoid people is that deep tissue, but don't feel anything. It's crazy to me. I don't understand how I'm going full pointy elbow, full body weight, and they still are like, just, I can't feel it. The orals tend to complain a lot about fucking everything. The psychopathic meso ones tend to, personality-wise, they tend to try to dictate the massage, and sometimes they want stuff that kind of doesn't make sense. The masochist, very easygoing, doesn't really say anything, but the ones that I've gotten that complain a lot are always orals and psychopathic. So yeah, for me, it just kind of follows like their tension patterns. If you ever look at a trigger point map, for me, what I do is I just kind of look at the pain that they highlight. So I'm feeling all this pain here and tightness here, and you kind of look at it as a like the trigger point pain. It can tell you a lot about their type, because sometimes for me it's pretty spot on, but sometimes you get the body types that are like skinny but they hold their tension. I think that's what also the bioenergetic somatotypes help a lot. It's how they hold their tension. You know, sometimes they'll look physically different, but the way that they hold their tension can tell you a lot about what kind of holding patterns that they have. Neurotic holding patterns where the fucking energy doesn't flow out. So I'm still trying to figure out. I think as more time goes on, I'm going to see how much more of the people that I get. I'm going to probably keep a list and see. I think the most common ones to get a massage are always schizoid, oral, and masochist. Ecto 1, Ecto 2, and endo. Psychopathic and phallic don't really try to get massages. They feel like they already know what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know what to do with this information, but I will come up with better integration of like my massage therapy and body work to maybe help out with some gaps that are missing in the course. I still don't know. I need feedback. But yeah, all right.